My guest today is a 13-year veteran of the NBA, during which time he was a two-time All-Star and Olympic gold medalist with the 2008 USA basketball team. He is now an author with his new book, Every Shot That Counts, a memoir of resilience, which is on sale right now. Please welcome to the show former NBA star, the one and only Carlos Boozer. What's going on, big time? How are you, man? How's everything?
Bless, man. Good to be on. Appreciate you having me,
Man,
Stephen
please
A.
appreciate you being on the show. Just before I even get into the questions, it's great to see you. Got a lot of love for you throughout your NBA career. In my years covering the NBA, you were always good to me, my man. One of the classiest dudes going on. You'll always be a friend to me, and I'm happy to have you on the show. So I just wanted my audience to know what you mean to me before I do this. I begin this interview. This book,
Appreciate
right?
that.
No doubt. This book, Every Shot That Counts. You know, why did you want to share this story? Because there's a story that you're talking about in here where you talked about a traumatic experience from your childhood that you never told anybody before. Talk about what that story is and why you wanted to share it.
Yeah, my best friend Chris got shot and killed right in front of me as a young man in DC. And it was something that was obviously a childhood trauma that stuck with me my whole life, my whole career, obviously. And only my parents knew. Obviously, Chris's family knew, some very close family members. But I think it was time to share the story so people can know what I'm about, where I came from, why we moved to Alaska, and how Alaska really changed the outlook of our trajectory for our entire family. You know, my mom and dad have five kids. All of us went to college. All of us graduated. Not saying that we couldn't have did that in DC, but we did do that growing up in Alaska.
Yeah, I'm wondering, why was it something that you never told anybody before? I mean, especially once you got to the leagues, you went to Duke, you started Duke, you go to the NBA or whatever. People forget how big time you are. I'm still mad at you for leaving Cleveland to go to Utah because, damn it, I think you would have been a champion if you didn't do it. But we'll get back to that in a minute. But why was this something that you didn't tell anybody? Why did you like to keep quiet about it?
Yeah, I was 6 years old when it happened. Stephen A., you know how street violence can be, and you never know what the fallout may be from that.
Right.
My parents and I made the decision just to keep it to us and keep it to the small circle of people who knew about it
Right.
and move on, move forward with our life. And then we did that. We packed up everything. My aunt was living in Alaska, Juneau, Alaska. And so we packed up everything, took a van all the way to Bellingham, Washington, and then took a ferry from there up to Juneau, Alaska. And it opened up a whole different world. I was learning how to ski and snowboard, learning how to start fires. My dad used to love to go fishing, hiking, things of that nature, which we did not have in DC. So I kept it to myself because that was the family decision that we chose to make.
Man, let me transition to Alaska because I ain't never been in Alaska. I ain't never been to Alaska. I ain't had no damn desire to go to Alaska. When I think Alaska, I think cold. I'm imagining every day is 30 degrees or less. Am I accurate? I mean, what's the weather like there, bro? What's the weather like there?
Listen, the summers are very nice. I suggest you go on a cruise in the summer. The winter gets to your bones. So I wouldn't suggest to go up there in the wintertime, but the summers are beautiful, man. We got glaciers, we got beautiful mountain picturesque type of pictures up there. You go up there, you come back with an insane experience that you'll never experience. I used to fly on helicopters that would land on glaciers and walk around the glacier.
Ain't that where them damn polar bears are? Them polar bears that be and they be snatching people up. Ain't that the truth?
Absolutely. We got bears, we got wolves, porcupine, everything.
Oh,
deer,
hell no. And you telling
wolves.
us we should go there? We should go where polar bears and wolves and bears and all of this stuff that'll eat people in a heartbeat. That's where we should go.
Stephen A., you missing out, man. You missing out. Go check it out. Spend a week in Alaska to change your life.
Oh, my Lord. So back to this book. What is it that you want people to take from this book? Because that's not the only story that you tell in there. But the overall or the underlying message and theme to this book is what, according to Carlos Boozer?
Just if you have a dream, go after it. I was a kid growing up in Juneau, Alaska, and I told my parents, hey, I wanna go to the NBA one day from Juneau, Alaska, right? So along that journey, there's a lot of speed bumps, there's a lot of roadblocks. And just like anybody who has a goal or a dream or something they want to accomplish, you're going to run into some difficulty and you have a choice to make. Do you bust through that roadblock or do you pivot and work for somebody else, helping them accomplish their dream? And I mean, just to give you an example, when I was in seventh grade, and we go into our classroom. The teacher asks everybody, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I was told the truth. I said, "I want to be in the NBA." And she told me that, Carlos, you should have lesser expectations. Maybe work at the local gas station or local grocery store. And that was odd to me because I'm coming from a household where my mom and dad they encouraged me to be a dreamer, like go after your dream, go after your goal. So imagine a seventh grader, 12-year-old kid, their seventh grade teacher tells them they're reaching too high. And so at that time, in that moment, I decided to not listen to my seventh grade teacher and keep going after what I wanted. And so my message is, if you have a goal, if you have a dream, go for it. Very few times are you going to go on a smoothly paved out road for you. You're going to go through some ups, some downs, some highs and some lows. Keep going. Life is very short. Find your tribe, find the people that will help you and assist you to accomplish what you want to do.
You've got children, and obviously you have always been a conscientious brother. You care about a lot of people, so you pay attention to what's going on, at least from a distance, if not directly. I wonder, when you tell that story, how concerned do you find yourself in this day and age about teachers and guidance counselors and the potential impact they can have on young minds? Because I had a guidance counselor, when I told her I wanted to go to college, she laughed at me. Laughed, like literally laughed, like, you really, like looking at me like you have no chance whatsoever. And I held on to that, and that really, really motivated me. But it could kill some hopes. It could kill the dreams that youngsters may have. Some youngsters are looking for an excuse to give up, while you have others who want to go for it. They just need that extra boost. How concerned do you find yourself for young minds out there, considering the educational landscape that exists and the kind of impact a potential educator or supposed educator is supposed to have on young minds?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important. I mean, you leave home for your mom and dad, and who knows what background some of the youth may have. May have come from broken homes. Maybe they do have both of their parents together. Maybe they're being raised by a grandparent. I don't know. But when you go to school, you're assuming that these educators are going to give them the best advice. But imagine a kid coming in saying, "Hey, I want to be a photographer. I want to be the next Stephen A. Smith," and they deter them and they give them the notion that they can't achieve that. That's unacceptable. And that's what I face. It sounds like something that you face with your guidance counselor.
Yep.
I'm of the mindset of encouraging people to dream, because ultimately life is tough. But if you have something that you're passionate about, you're going to give it everything you got. And that's why I tell people all the time, find your tribe, find like-minded people who think like you, want to achieve like you, want to break down barriers, break generational curses, and go after what you have. We don't know how much time we're going to have on this earth, right? Chris died at 6 years old.
Right.
Who knows? He may be the one that got to the NBA and not me, but for some reason, I was here to tell his story.
Your last year in the NBA was 2014, 2015 with the Los Angeles Lakers. I thought that at one time you were an elite power forward. Don't get me started on you leaving Cleveland. I didn't blame you. I mean, I didn't blame you for taking the money from Utah, not one bit. But I was like, damn it, that Darren Williams helped him win a title, because you're going to have to be LeBron, and that wasn't the case. But I guess looking at the NBA right now and thinking about what it's done for your life, I'm trying to figure out how the hell you got there playing in the snow. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, in damn Alaska, ain't no damn. I mean, unless you only played in the summertime. Outside of what the hell did you do? Play basketball on skis? How'd that happen, man? How you get there?
Man, listen, I didn't do it alone. I'll tell you that right now. I was blessed with two parents that supported me, older sister, three siblings younger than me that helped me along the way. My high school coach, George Houston, is in the Hall of Fame for Alaska for basketball coaching, terrific coach. And Darren Matsubara, man, EBO. I got a chance to play travel basketball that took me down to California and New York and Jersey and Vegas, all these different tournaments when I was a young man. And me and Matt Barnes and Deshaun Stevenson and Drew Gooden, we're on the same AAU team growing up. Wow. So that was really how I got discovered. I don't know if you probably do know Dana and David Pump, the Pump
Yes,
brothers.
I do. I know the Pump brothers.
I went to their basketball camp when I was like a 14-year-old kid, and I played well. I broke a backboard, it went viral. Everything after that changed for me. Mm-hmm. I started getting letters from colleges, and next thing I know, here comes Coach K in my living room, and I'm a junior, senior in high school,
right?
And I end up at Duke, and the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history. Let me ask you this question as you reflect on your basketball career. We all have regrets in life. We live with some better than others. What is yours? What's your biggest regret?
I would say, I mean, it's funny because a lot of people would say, stay in Cleveland and take $40 million less. And don't get me wrong, what LeBron was able to do with this league and still doing in this league is remarkable. His longevity, the ambassador, what he's done off the court with the I Promise School, the impact that he's had on so many lives is well beyond any expectations any of us had for him. But part of me, wishes that I would have maybe stayed in Utah. I think going to Chicago gave me the best chance to win the championship. Derrick Rose was super special, like one in a lifetime kind of talent, one in a generation. Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, Taj Gibson, Nate Robinson, Coach Tibbs. Like, we had an incredible roster in Chicago. It was difficult with Poole getting hurt after he got the MVP that year. The next, 4 or 5 years in a row.
Right.
But I wonder what would have happened if I stayed with D. Will in Utah, where they would have built the team around us, got us a real shot blocking type of center to contend with the Spurs and the Lakers. Obviously, Kobe and Timmy were very difficult to beat come playoff time, as you know.
Yep.
But that's one. I would say staying with D. Will and seeing what the team would have built around us.
Well, I think the thing about it is, even though I want to mess with you, the reality is that you departed from Cleveland after LeBron. What was this? His rookie year or his second year? I think it was his second
rookie year.
His rookie year. So you were departed after his rookie year. They got to the finals in 2007, which is about 4 years later. I thought they would have got there sooner with you. And if LeBron had somebody like you there, he wouldn't have had to flex and telling his boys, go strong, because you would have handled that on your own. But I think about D. Will, because D. Will was nice. D. Will was nice, no doubt. Now, I had a problem with him when he went to the Nets because I didn't think he was that player any longer, shooting too many damn jump shots, for crying out loud. But D. Will could dance on you. He could ball. He could do a lot of things. And the combination of you two together in Utah was something special. As you reflect on that, you really think y'all would have won a championship?
I think depending on what they put around us, one of the most dynamic things that we had with Jerry Sloan's offense in Utah was our center was Mehmet Okur, who was a three-point shooting guy that kept the middle open for me and D. Will to operate because he was such a three-point threat. The problem is he's 6'10", 6'11". I'm 6'9" on a good day. Paul Millsap 6'7", and we're going up against Andrew Bynum, Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom. That's all 7-footers, right?
Right.
Then you go to the Spurs, they got Tim Duncan and Fabricio, and they're all 7-footers. So we didn't have
you didn't need to mention Fabricio, but go ahead. You didn't need to mention Fabricio, but go ahead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
We didn't have the size, I thought, to contend with some of those teams. We could beat Denver. We beat Houston with Yao Ming and T-Mac. But for some reason, the Spurs and the Lakers had our number. Obviously, Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant.
When we sit around today and we reflect on the NBA, particularly the season that was and now that Denver's the NBA champions, we saw Damian Lillard just arrive in Milwaukee. We saw Drew Holiday arrive in Boston. We see Denver standing pat. We see the Lakers, for the most part, standing pat outside of acquiring Christian Wood from Dallas and ultimately Gabe Vincent from Miami. We see the Clippers hoping and praying that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George can stay healthy for a postseason. We got all of that going on. If there's a story that you believe we should be focused on for this upcoming NBA season, what would it be?
I mean, the moves that were made are terrific. I mean, I can't wait to see Dame and Greek Freak partner up. Dame's been so loyal, and now he gets a chance to win a championship. It kind of reminds me of KG when he left Minnesota.
Yep.
He left Minnesota, got a chance to compete for titles. I think Dame's going to have opportunities in Milwaukee to compete for titles, and rightfully so. He's deserving of that. I'm curious to see how the CP3, Steph Curry mix works in Golden State.
Right.
I'm curious to see how the Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, KD, and Phoenix, if that chemistry can arise. Those two teams are interesting to me. I mean, obviously the Warriors just won it a couple of years ago. Phoenix is on the brink, it seems like, of having something special. They just moved their center in Ayton. I'm looking forward to seeing those two stories and kind of how they unfold.
I'm thinking about Boston being the favorites coming out of the East, not Milwaukee. Because even though I love Damian Lillard and Giannis is unstoppable, I think perimeter shooting and free throw shooting comes in handy. Now, obviously, Damian Lillard will take care of that. But the flip side is, what if you key on Damian Lillard and let Giannis go off? but he going off by getting to the hole. But he's getting fouled, and free throws are an issue, or perimeter shooting is an issue because you collapse and cover the paint. To me, you can't do those things to Boston. Jason Tatum could score from inside and out. Jaylen Brown could score from inside and out. Drew Holiday is there now. Size with Derek White at the guard spot with Drew Holiday is there. And then Porzingis is 7'3", Al Horford 6'10", and both of them can shoot. I'm like, why are people looking at me like I'm smoking something when I say Boston's the favorite?
No, I'm not mad at that. I mean, Boston got a roster, man. You saw what they did last year.
Right.
You know, I think they're one of the teams that will always have a chance. They're locked up. Jaylen Brown, obviously Tatum. Those two guys together are so dynamic, and then the pieces around them are terrific. You know, you see Al Horford almost found the fountain of youth. I played against Al Horford. He's still going. Right. That's impressive to me. But you know, then you got Porzingis, who's young, and if he can stay healthy, can knock down shots, can be a force. I will say though, Milwaukee's interesting because everybody. And Giannis is obviously working on his three-point shot, but everybody outside of Giannis can knock it down. You got Brook Lopez out there, Bobby Portis off the bench, obviously Chris Middleton and Dame. Like, everybody around him can knock it down. So if you got Giannis dominating inside, who you going to double off of?
Right. That's true. I wouldn't even double. I just let Giannis dominate me and hope that he misses a shot and I'll foul him and send him to the free throw line or let him get his two rather than Dame drilling threes. Lakers got a chance because, you know, I feel like I already got a bet with my man Shannon Sharp. He bet me that Anthony Davis going to play 65 games this year. I said, you're going to lose that bet before Valentine's Day. You're going to lose that bet before Valentine's Day. It's just that simple to me.
I would love to see AD play. You know, a full season, 70 games for him would be awesome because he's such a great talent. I've been obviously playing against him for a few years when he was younger and been a fan of his game for a long time, even all the way back at Kentucky, coming out of Chicago. He can really play. He can ball, and especially when he's out there. You saw what he did in the playoffs last year. I thought he had a great run. Mm-hmm. I know they fell a little bit short, but the Lakers have a chance. I mean, Rob Pelinka's put a great team around those guys, LeBron and AD. But I'm going to tell you, it will come down to AD being the guy. It's time for him to really step up and be that guy, be able to carry a team. I'm not saying LeBron can't because he still does it night in, night out. He's still a force to be reckoned with. But for them to win a championship in LA, AD has to dominate like we haven't seen him do before.
Let me go to your wheelhouse from this perspective before I let you get on out of here with just a couple more questions. We're talking to the great Carlos Boozer, former NBA player, right here with Stephen A. on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Ja Morant is in Memphis. We know what happened with him and how he's suspended for the first 25 games, but God bless him. We hope that he's going to be all right. Get yourself together, get your life together, and all of that other stuff. Dad, mad respect for his dad, but you're the dad now. You don't need to be partying with the fellas. You old now, sir. You older now. Right. Having said all of that, Derrick Rose is there, and I know he's a reserve player. I got so much love and respect for D Rose. Yeah. How great would Derrick Rose have been if he had never gotten hurt? Could you tell people that, please?
I mean, for you younger generation, maybe you haven't seen the highlights of D Rose, or maybe you didn't get a chance to witness his greatness. And the brother was special, man. I mean, there was moments for me and Joakim and Luau we're his teammates, we're all-stars in our own right, and we're just in awe of what he's able to do. He was jumping over 7-footers, flying by us by himself, one-man fast break a lot of the time. So dynamic. Think about his trajectory, right? Number one player coming out of high school, goes to Memphis, number one pick in the NBA draft, wins Rookie of the Year. Second year, makes it to the All-Star team. Third year, wins the league MVP, youngest MVP in league history, and then gets hurt 6 years in a row.
Damn.
Imagine what he would have did if he'd been on all the Olympic teams and, 10, 15-time All-Stars and scoring. He'd be on a lot of lists right now is my point. He was that special.
I saw this brother play. That dunk he did in Phoenix, that tomahawk dunk. I mean, Lord have mercy. I mean, that was one of the baddest dunks we'd ever seen. It's just something special. And as phenomenal and great as Russell Westbrook has been at times in his career, Derrick Rose, I have those two as the two most athletic point guards in the history of basketball. Am I wrong?
It's not even close. I mean, the stuff I've seen Russ do, the stuff I witnessed as a teammate of Derrick Rose, it's not even close. I didn't play and witness Oscar Robertson and some of these guys from back in the day, Walt Frazier's. But in my time, there's no question that D Rose and Russell Westbrook are light years ahead of everybody else as far as athleticism at the point guard spot.
Mm-hmm. Who's the best player in the NBA right now?
I would say, for me, it's between Joker,
Jokic,
Embiid, and Giannis. Those are the three most dominant, consistent guys that we have. Joker coming off a championship and a couple MVPs. Greek Freak, obviously, right there. He's Chris Middleton away from getting back to the finals last year and a couple of injuries. I think he had a back thing last year. Embiid is so dominant with his ability to go inside and outside. His footwork is terrific. Touch is great. I'm gonna go with Greek Freak. I'm a Greek Freak fan. I think he's getting better and better. He dominates at 30 plus points and 12 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists. He's just hard to guard. Even though I really do love watching the Joker play, the way he starts the offense and gets everybody involved.
Can't jump onto a curb and you can't stop him. Can't jump onto a curb and can't stop him. And can't stop him. And can't stop him.
And he can't jump over a paperclip. But he's unguardable.
The greatest player in the coming out of Duke's program in history is who? It's
Grant Hill for me, and I say it with no hesitation. I think Grant to me was just smooth.
I agree.
He could defend, could set an offense. Was one of the original point forwards that we had. And let's talk. We talked about D Rose. What if Grant never got hurt, Stephen A?
Oh, woo. Jordan Part 2. Not
Grant
quite. Not quite. He would have been a cross between. I'm thinking Jordan and Kobe. My only thing is Grant could never shoot like Kobe and never learned to shoot as well as MJ.
Yeah, but what if he never got hurt?
That's true. Grant Hill.
I mean, that's what I say about D Rose. Like, we didn't get a chance to see the athleticism mixed in with his jump shot that he has now. Imagine, and the poise and the maturity. Like, imagine Grant Hill being able to work throughout his entire career on his craft without having an ankle injury or a foot injury stopping him.
Yeah. Last question. The late Prince, God rest his soul, once rented out your house in LA. Is that true?
Yeah, true story.
What the hell is that, renting out your house? First of all, I know he rented out your house and changed everything purple, right? Did he do that?
He did, correct.
How much you charge him?
Listen, the brother with $95,000 a month. Wow. A lot of people like Booz. If he's paying $100,000 a month, he should be able to do whatever he wants to the house. The problem is he didn't tell me about it. May he rest in peace. A lot of love for Prince. Just let me know. At least give me a little addendum to the contract.
Right. So you came home one day and everything was in purple.
Everything was purple. I went up to the gate. I had 2 gold lions on the gate. I pulled up. There was some symbol. I didn't even know he changed his name to the symbol. Came in the house, made the weight room into a disco ball, DJ booth, which actually was kind of cool. I never had that before in the house. had one of my bedrooms made into a hair salon. It was, but I'll tell you what though, before he moved out, it was like he was never there. Everything that we had decorated the house with was back in place down to the forks. Did a phenomenal job taking care of the property. I actually raised the value $4 million in 1 year just because it was Prince that rented it out. So, you know.
How much did it raise the value? It's LA. We need to know this. How much did it raise the value?
I bought it at $8 million, sold it at 12.
Wow.
In 1 year because of Prince.
Wow. Before I let you get on out of here, very, very last question. Who do you want, your wish list, to see playing in the NBA Finals this year?
Ooh, good question. I would like to see Dame and Greek Freak in Milwaukee. And I like to see them play against Golden State. I would love to see the Steph Dame matchup in the finals.
I disagree. You know why? Because Golden State has no size and there's no answer for Giannis and the combination of Giannis and Brook Lopez, Kevon Looney.
Well, who you want to see?
It would be if you gave me Milwaukee, it would be Milwaukee and Phoenix.
Okay.
Or Boston and Phoenix.
Okay.
Now, if the Lakers, I'm sorry, not the Lakers. I mean, well, first of all, I'm going to root for the Lakers because you know where I'd rather be. You know where I want to be in June. You know, I apologize for that to anybody. I want to be in Southern California. That's true. And I can't stand San Francisco. I just can't stand it. But I will tell you, I love the Golden State Warriors. But if they got size, on their front line, I would be ecstatic to see CP3 with Steph and Clay and them in the NBA Finals. But I don't think they'll be able to do that. So you telling me KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal together? Nurkic in the middle now? I kind of like that. Especially if Booker's your point guard. Especially if he's your point guard.
He can play. He can play make. He was doing that before CP3 got there.
Okay. Carlos Boozer. Title of the book, Every Shot Counts. Okay? Every shot counts. The one and only Carlos Boozer, former NBA star, right here with Stephen A. on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Appreciate you, my brother. Happy for you. Proud of you. Wishing you good luck with this book and everything else in between. You take care of yourself, all right?
Even I appreciate it, brother.
No doubt. Always. My man, Carlos Boozer. So good to see him. So good to hear from him. So good to talk with him. I got to tell y'all, I think they had a chance. When Darren Williams was balling the way that he was balling and Carlos Boozer was balling the way that he was balling in Utah, they had a chance. But just imagine if he had stayed there. If he had stayed there for about 3 more years in Cleveland when LeBron and Cleveland went to the finals against San Antonio. If Carlos Boozer, at the height of his career, was LeBron James' teammate, imagine what that would have been like. We can dream, we can fantasize. That's what I just did. Thanks again to Carlos Boozer.